Alright, let's take a look at question 6. In question 6, we're being assessed in how to generate exponential models from graphs. Alright, and we're going to be generating our model numerically. Question 6 reads, the graph of y equals f of x is shown below. So we have the exponential graph of the function shown below with 3 points indicated. Question, which expression defines f of x? Alright, so we have 4 expressions here, and the question is which of these ones define this function that we have. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to basically carry out a test. We're going to test each of these functions using these 3 points, and whichever function satisfies these 3 points, that will be the correct function. Okay, so we're going to test the functions with the 3 points. Alright, let's go ahead and start with function number 1. Alright, so for function 1, we have f of x equals 2x. Now, should we even bother checking this function at all? The answer is no. Why not? If you take a close look at this function here is a linear function. What does that mean? It means that when you draw the graph of this function, it's going to be a straight line. Okay? A straight line with y-intercept of 0 and a slope of 2. So this graph right here is not, you see it's curved, it's not a straight line, it's an exponential function. So based on that observation alone, we should automatically know that number 1 is not the answer. Alrighty? Now let's assume that we didn't observe that detail. Alright, we just want to go through it, just want to test the points. We'll just test the points one by one. Okay? So we start with point number 1. P1 is the point 2, 10. Alright, so let's call this P1, P2, P3. These are the 3 points we're testing. Alright, so P1 is 210. So the question is, when I plug in 2 into the function, do I get 10 as the output? Okay, so is f of 2 equal to 10 for this particular function? Well, let's see. F of 2 means you plug in 2 into this function, right? So f of 2 is 2 times 2. Is 2 times 2 equal to 10? 2 times 2 is 4. Is 4 equal to 10? This is false. It's a no-no. Alright, we're not surprised that it doesn't match. So number 1 is not the answer. Alright, let's move to option 2. Option 2, 3, and 4 are all exponential functions. How do we know? Because the variable term, the x, is in the exponential position. It's been exponentiated. So all these 3 are exponential functions, so we have to check them all. Okay? Alright, let's start with continue with option 2. Option 2, the function is 5 times 2 to the x. Uh-oh, I didn't write it correctly. So 5 times quantity 2 to the x. Alright, so we're going to start testing. We start with the first point, point 1, which is 210. So the question is f of 2 equal to 10 in this second function? If I plug in 2 into the function, do I get 10 as an output? Well, let's see. The function is 5 times 2 to the x, so we're going to go 5 times 2 raised to the input, which is x. Is it equal to 10? Is it? The x value is 2, so we can replace that x right there with 2. Just plug in 2 into the function. When we plug in 2 into the function, we're going to have 5 times 4. Is 5 times 4 10? 5 times 4 is 20. Is 20 equal to 10? The answer is no, this is false. So that helps us to see that option 2 is not the answer, because when we plugged in 2 into this function right here, we got 20 and not 10. Okay? Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Option 3. Option 3, we have the function, so another exponential function, 5 times quantity 2 raised to the x over 2. Okay? Let's start with the first point. P1. P1 is 210. So is f of 2 equal to 10 in this case? We are repeating the same procedure. All we're doing is just plugging in the point into the function and see if we end up with a true or false statement. Okay, so we plug in 2 here. We're going to have, let me move my function up a little bit so you can see it. Okay, there you go. When we plug in 2 here, we're going to have 5 times the quantity 2 to the 2 over 2. Is that equal to 10? 5 to the 2 over 2. 2 over 2 is 1. 5 times 2, is it equal to 10? 5 times 2 is 10. Is 10 equal to 10? Absolutely. Oh man, looks like this is the answer. But is testing only one point sufficient? The answer is no. We gotta test all 3. Okay. So let's move on to point 2. P2. Point 2 is 420. So the question is f of 4 equal to 20? So plugging 4 into this function. If we plug in 4 into the function, we have 5 times 2 raised to the 4 over 2. Is it equal to 20? 4 over 2 is 2, so 5 times 2 square, is it equal to 20? 2 square is 4, right? So it's 5 times 4, is it equal to 20? It certainly is. Looking good. Let's try the third point. It looks like this is going to be our answer, but let's not make any assumptions here. Let's try the third point, P3. Or another thing you can do is plug in the first point into the last option and see if it works or not. Okay? So I'm going to try the third point. P3. Point 3 is the coordinate 6, 40. So does this function here satisfy? Is f of 6 of this function, is it going to give me the output of 40? Well, let's see. F of 6 involves us plugging in 6 into this function. So it's going to be 5 times 2 to the 6 over 2. Is that equal to 40? And then we have 5 times 6 over 2 is 2 to the third. Is that equal to 40? And then when we simplify that, 2 to the third is 8, right? So is 5 times 8 equal to 40? 5 times 8 is 40, right? So is 40 equal to 40? It certainly is. So ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer is 5 times 2 raised to the x over 2. Alright, another way that you can do this problem, since you're allowed to use a calculator on the exam, is by making a use of the graphing calculator. Okay, so what you can do in this, if you want to use a graphing calculator, is you simply enter these 4 functions into the graph, take a look at the table, and see if see which one satisfies these 3 points. Okay, so let's do that real quick. So the first function is 2x. The second function is 5 times 2 raised to the x power. So the only tricky part in this process is being able to enter the functions correctly into the calculator. Okay, and then the third one is 5 times 2 raised to the parenthesis x over 2. Close the exponent and then close the power and then close the exponential term. Alrighty, so 5 times 2 raised to the x over 2. And then the last one is 5 times 2 raised to the 2x. Now, since this is 2x, be sure to group it in the parentheses, 2x. There's some calculators that do the grouping for you so you can see exactly what's going on, but this is doesn't have that feature, so there you have it. Okay, so let's make sure we have everything correct. 5 y equals 2x. The next one is 5 times 2 to the x. The next one is 5 2 raised to the x over 2, and then the last one is 5 times 2 raised to the 2x. Okay, alright, so now I'm going to go to my table setup, and I want it to ask, so the default setting for the independent is auto, so I'm going to have it do ask. Okay, so I want it to ask me what input I want it to generate the output for. So you go to have that selected, and then go to table, second function graph. So this is the table right here. Oopsie, it already has it all filled out. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to clear that. Okay, there was something wrong with my previous calculator, so I'm switching to a different one. Okay, anyway, so you have this entered. I have everything entered in the second calculator. And then table setup, ask. Okay, I wanted to ask me for the independent variable. Alright, so second function graph will take me to the table. Alright, so I'm just going to enter what I want, which is 2. 2, enter, bam. Alright, so if you take a look at that, for x equals 2, you notice the output. For the first one, I got 4, which is wrong. Second one is 20, which is wrong. Third one is 10. Bam, that's the correct answer. So we can automatically see that that's the correct one right there. Okay, and then you could do, if you want to do them all, you could do 2, 4. Let me see if it does it override it. So 4, if you look at it, first one is wrong, second one is wrong, the third one is correct, 420. Okay, so you can just enter it into the calculator, and then you can have the calculator do the calculations for you, and then just compare with what you have, and then you can see which the correct answer is. So if you are allowed to use a graphing calculator, it's definitely the fastest way to do it. But without a graphing calculator, the best strategy will be to just plug in the points into the options and see which one satisfies all the points. Okay, so this is basically how you generate an exponential model using the graph with specified. I really appreciate it. If you found the contents of this tutorial helpful in your preparation for your upcoming Algebra 2 Regents exam, to give us a thumbs up. Your positive feedback is extremely important to us. If you have any questions or comments or special requests, just post it in the comment section below and we'll be more than glad to respond. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for updates to the remainder of this review series and all the great math resources to help you master Algebra 2 and beyond. More support resources from Algebra to Calculus can be found on our website at Mathgotserved.com. Do check it out. Thanks again for watching and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.